Okay, there we go. Lucky attempt number 5. Yes, I started hitting go at 7, and I've restarted 5 times since then. But apparently we're working now. You guys tell me. It looks like we're working on my end. Not sure about your end, but my end is now finally working after 5 minutes of attempts. So anyway, hopefully you guys are there now that it tells me that I'm here. But after the what it took to get started Sunday night and what it took to get started tonight, I'm not quite sure anymore. There's Frank. Jim's here. All right, we are there. Good. Ed's here. Pete's here. Neil's on with us. Glad you guys are here. John made it. In the office tonight. Didn't want to heat the shop up. Had a couple of things to check out. And they're small enough we could do them in here. Plus, I need the other computer for some research that I've been working on. So, Tim's here. Kevin's on. Bill Disk made it. Glad you guys are here and ready for some Toy Tuesday. Ready to check out some signs. I picked up some more signs last week. Shocking to absolutely probably no one on here that I bought more signs. However, Peter from Down Under's here. Balin Wire's with us. Jeff from Ottawa. Gary's here. You think you finally got on. It took me 5 tries to get on. And I was trying to set the live up, and it took me 5 times to get on. So not really sure what's going on with YouTube, but please bear in mind Sunday night, episode number 250. If we are a few minutes late, that's probably what's going on. It did it to us last Sunday night. It did it to us tonight. But we did eventually get on. So when we get ready to go Sunday night, please keep that in mind, guys. Dan from Defiance. So anyway, like I talked to you guys about Sunday night, I did go to an antique show. I picked up some red lines, a couple of signs. However, I bought 2 signs, but I only get to keep 1 sign, which I know is really weird for you guys because I bought 2, keeping 1, which is really odd. But I did pick up a sign for a buddy of mine. After I did some research for it tonight, I kind of wish I decided to keep it, but it's got his name on it. So I told him I'd get it for him. So we got to kind of do that. Randy with the Nut Farm's here. That's right, Peter. I'm not sure what's going on. Billy Bowman, Austin's on. So anyway, let's talk about a couple of signs I picked up. Now, these are different. Actually, neither one of them are even automotive related, by the way, believe it or not. But they're great signs. Bill Wagaman made it. The first one, Soda Pop. And I do like Soda Pop signs. We've got a lot of them. I got a lot of Dr. Pepper. I don't have a lot of Coke stuff, really. I've got a Vendo 39 Coke machine, but don't buy a lot of Coke signs. So much that stuff out there is reproduced with Coke. It's really scary. But I've got some Pepsi stuff. I've got some cool Dr. Pepper stuff. I've got a killer whistle sign and picked up another one that I had never even seen before. So kind of excited about that. Springfield, Ohio swap meet coming up this Saturday. A little too far for me to make, but I haven't been to a swap meet in a while. I'm kind of getting antsy. So, I know it's terrible, Peter, isn't it? So anyway, the first sign we're going to talk about, Soda Pop, and kind of a different one. Anybody ever heard of Dr. Sweat's root beer? I hadn't either, but it was a cool sign, single-sided embossed tin, so had to grab it. Now, obviously, it was not something that I was familiar with at all, so I had to do a little bit of research, hit some Wikipedia. There is conflicting stories on Dr. Sweat from what I had found, but we're going to go ahead and touch on the Wikipedia stuff real quick on Dr. Sweat's root beer, an American brand of root beer created in 1845. So going back a few years, 180 years when this was supposedly created by Dr. George Sweat. Born in 1834 in New Brunswick, Canada, he actually was... he actually says he created it when he was 11 years old. Being sold as 1885 as a type of medicinal beverage. And they had started actually marketing it in the 1870s. So long time ago, 150 plus years ago. By 1890, the beverage being sold at drugstores, soda fountains, sporting events around the U.S. and began being sold in earthenware bottles instead of just in mixes. The beverage, which according to Wikipedia, now some of the other sites I found disputed this fact that it did actually have alcohol in it. However, a lot of the elixirs and, cure-alls in that era, that's what they were alcohol. So, it was kind of a questionable time, not a lot of good records kept back then. So like I said, there were conflicting stories about what I could find about Dr. Sweat and his root beer. Sweet Peter, that's some good stuff. The beverage began being sold by the Tri-State Beverage Company in 1919. The company opened up a Philadelphia branch in 1920, as well as a Chicago location, then a branch in Portland, Maine in 1921. The company was also selling beverages at local food courts next to Coca-Cola, Moxie, and Whistle at that time. Sweat died in 1924 in Massachusetts. The company was incorporated under the new ownership of George Dunham in 1925. The company claimed to have had its beverages distributed in Australia, Canada, South America, and Alaska. And in 1921, they were listed as having locations in Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia, Oakland, New Orleans, and Montreal. So they were nationwide. The Baker and Malaspina Company of Connecticut was listed as the manufacturer in 1932. 1938, it was sold to a group of stockholders, including Nelson Rockefeller, and its headquarters was moved to New York City. By 1946, they claimed they had a 100-year-old recipe. The company was then sold to Corn Products Company and Oso Grape in 1948. The company floundering by the 1950s and has been cited to be defunct by 1959. There's Kenny. By 1990, the trademark had expired. So by 1959, Dr. Sweat's root beer was defunct. So this is definitely not something that we'll see on a real regular basis. But I was excited about it. I don't know that I've ever seen this sign. I want to know what you guys think about it. This one is, for me, this is a keeper. Single-sided embossed tin, believed to be, from what I could see and from what I was told, and from what I can see kind of backs this up, probably a 40s era single-sided tin Dr. Sweat's early American rich in dextrose root beer sign. So as you can tell, great colors on this one. There is a little bit of paint loss in it here. There's a little bit of damage up here on the corner. But overall, this is a great looking sign. Peter's got ads again. Yeah, there's unfortunately not much we can do about the ads, but it's YouTube's game. We got to work with them. Now, if we look at the back of this sign, we can see how that is embossed. It is actually stamped in there. And we can tell this definitely has some age to it. Well, along with the embossing, we see the shadowing in the letters to kind of give it that 3D effect with the embossment in the metal on the sign. Now, this particular sign, just to give you guys some idea on size, it is 27 across and about 19 tall. Well, and honestly, Peter, I've never heard of it here either. But there again, it was defunct by 1959. That was 66 years ago. And obviously was not real strong in the 50s. So the 40s was kind of the end of this stuff. So realistically, 75, 80 years since this was, allegedly a household brand based on what I'm seeing on Wikipedia. And like I said, there are some other websites I found that actually did conflict some of the things that were in the Wikipedia article, such as whether or not it did or did not have alcohol in it. However, if I were betting, and being as how this was developed in the 1800s by a pharmacist, that pretty good chance it probably had alcohol in it, because that fixed everything back in the 1800s when you didn't actually have to put everything listed in on the contents of what you put in it, and things were a little more loose than they are now. So I'm betting it probably was, but obviously after, essentially 70 years since this stuff has been commonplace on the market, probably not a lot of people that have heard of it, unless somebody's come across an old bottle or stumbles onto a nice killer sign like this particular piece that I found last week. So, there again, not necessarily automotive related, but obviously you can tell by the condition, the embossing, the colors, why I kind of had to snag this one while I had the opportunity. So there's the first sign that we've got for tonight. The next sign, I actually picked it up for a buddy of mine because it's got his name on it primarily. However, after doing a little research, I kind of almost wish that I had decided to keep it for myself. The next sign we've got is for a bread company. And you think, oh, what's exciting about a bread company? What's that having to do with what we talk about on here? Bear with me for a second. It's got some great ties to some of the stuff that we've talked about on here before, and not exactly the type of stuff you would think about. Big Red made it tonight. There was a company called Kern's Bread, started by Peter Kern, born in 1835, died in 1907, was a German-born American businessman and politician active in Knoxville, Tennessee. He is best known as the founder of the confections company that eventually evolved into Kern's Bakery. Buick Man made it tonight. A brand still marketed in the Knoxville area. The company's former confectionery and ice cream parlor, now called the Mall Building or Oliver Hotel, still dominates the southwest corner of Market Square. He was actually the mayor of Knoxville from 1890 to 1892. Born in Zwingenberg, okay, whatever that means, in 1835, he was trained as a shoemaker, immigrated to New York in the 1850s, and by 1857 had moved to Georgia, where he actually joined the Confederate Army. At the outbreak of the Civil War, fighting with the 12th Georgia Infantry, he was wounded in action in Virginia and sent home to Georgia to recover. Now, bear with me because we're going to get into some really neat stuff here pretty quick that is going to ring a bell with, I bet, all of us. Copy that, Brager. Remember that thought. In fall of 1863, Kern, now healthy, began his return trip to Virginia to rejoin his fellow soldiers on the front lines. As he was waiting on a train connection in Knoxville, Union forces occupied the city. Kern was captured and released on the condition he remain in the city till the end of the war. After his release, Kern and a fellow German immigrant, William Heidel, established a bakery at the corner of State Street in Maine, which sold cookies made from flour and molasses to Union soldiers. By the late 1860s, Kern had bought out Heidel's share and had moved the business to a two-story building on Market Square. During this period, Kern added an ice cream parlor. The parlor utilized a 3-horsepower ice cream machine designed by Market Square gunsmith Thomas Burrier. Kern, who had to ship ice in from northern states during the winter months, became a local expert on refrigeration and served as president of the Knoxville Ice Company. In 1876, he commissioned the construction of a new 3-story structure, the Kern Building, now the Oliver Hotel, at the southwest corner of Market Square. The first floor housed the confections retail. His confectionery was selling soft drinks by the 1880s. And as the confectionery became more and more successful, he actually served as the city's mayor in the 1890s. And eventually, his descendants sold the company in the 1920s. So, in the late 1800s, obviously very well known in the area. And then they sold out to the Brown family in the 20s. It moved to a new plant on Chapman Highway, focused on the company's line of breads more than confections. Over the years, Kern became one of the top-selling breads in East Tennessee. And you're right, Bill, that's exactly where we're going with this. In the 1970s, the bread was popularized in a series of commercials based on the C.W. McCall Old Home Bread commercials featuring a trucker, AJ, and the waitress, Mavis. Now, we all know where that ended up, right? I mean, who's with me? Who knows where that ended up? The C.W. McCall Old Home Bread commercials. What did that turn into? It turned into a whole heck of a lot, believe it or not. That's right, Peter. Convoy. It spawned the song Convoy, the movie Convoy. C.W. McCall actually, he was a marketing guy. That wasn't even his real name. I don't even remember his real name, but he was actually a marketing guy. And based on the popularity of trucking and CBs and stuff, that's where he came up with the Old Home Bread commercials, popularizing Kern's Old Home Bread and eventually leading to the song Convoy and the movie Convoy and multiple other songs. Wolf Creek Pass, got a CJ5, the 4-wheel drive, all kinds of songs that came from C.W. McCall that all started with the commercial for Kern's Old Home Bread. Take home some Kern's bread. This particular sign here is dated 1959. We can see right up here where it has the date on it. This is also a single-sided embossed tin sign. Martin made it back tonight. We can see how the letters are all stamped in the back of this one. This thing is in absolutely knockout condition, as you can tell by the gloss on this particular piece. Actually, you can YouTube them, Pete. They are on there because I did look. This Kern's Take Home Bread sign is 42 by a little over 8. So 3.5 feet long, a little over 8 inches high on this Take Home Kern's Bread sign from 1959. Now I'll be looking for a bread truck. Yeah. So, a little bit more on Kern's Bread. Kern's Bakery was purchased in 1989 by Sara Lee, which discontinued the brand in 2008. Food City has revived it, the name, but you don't see it near as much anymore as what you used to see. But I thought it was super cool because I didn't realize, I knew that C.W. McCall had that had all come from bread commercials, however, did not realize that it was Kern's Bread. Now, one of my best friends, his name is Kern. So when I found this, I sent him pictures of it, and he's like, yeah, grab it for me. So, like I said, now I kind of want a Kern's Bread sign because of the ties to C.W. McCall and Convoy. But I promised this one to him, so this will probably be hanging up in his house here very soon. But thought it was a great story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, the ties to, and there again, that's some of the stuff we don't think about. This bread sign ties to some of the, you know, and eventually you think about what that spawned. You know, not only was it Convoy, but look at Smokey and the Bandit. Same time frame, same era, all came after these commercials for Kern's Old Home Bread, started by C.W. McCall. So, kind of crazy to think about that some of this stuff has ties a lot deeper than what we even think about. So that's what we've got for tonight. 2 signs that I picked up last week. This absolutely stellar Kern's Bread. Perfect example, Peter, BJ, and the Bear. Another trucking show from that era. All spurned from the same era of CB jargon, which all ties back to C.W. McCall's marketing campaign for Kern's Old Home Bread. So the Kern's Old Home Bread, as well as the Dr. Sweat's Early American Rich and Dextrose Root Beer. So you're right, Jeff. Both these signs in great shape. You know, both, obviously the Dr. Sweat's probably 40s. That's right, Randy. Rubber duck. Oh, by the way, something I did realize that is free to watch on YouTube with commercials. Convoy. You actually can watch Convoy. I found that about a month ago. Just dinking around once I was down here late one Saturday night working, looking for something cool to watch on YouTube. You can watch Convoy on YouTube, free with commercials. So keep that in mind too. If you haven't seen the movie, check it out. That was the first time I'd ever seen it. I was like, oh, it's there's Convoy. Click. Watch the Convoy. You can watch it on there for free. So anyway, like I said, 2 signs tonight that not necessarily automotive related, but definitely some ties to what we like. Obviously, Soda Pop is great. And the Kern's Old Home Bread, didn't think much about it until I started doing some research. And I was like, wow, this is actually some pretty cool ties to what we do here. So, yeah, that's right, Pete. There are a lot of good old movies on there with cars in them you can check out. So, Rubber Duck is dead. Yep. YouTube has a bunch of race car movies on. Yeah, so a lot of good old stuff. Even Randy's chiming in. So there's a lot of stuff on there. And there again, that's something I didn't really think about. But, you guys know I work down here till usually midnight or 1 on Friday and Saturday nights. So sometimes we're checking some of that stuff out. Actually, I guess that's right, Peter. You're not usually on with us on Sunday night. We always do Sunday night from here. So, yeah, the Heather picture has been a pretty big deal. I've actually got it screwed to the wall because, the gathering's coming up. I don't want anybody walking off with Heather. She's got to keep an eye on us. So, yeah, I didn't even think about you not being on with us on Sunday, Peter, because we talk about her about every week. I have watched Heart Like a Wheel on there. I did not realize Firebolt 500 or Grand Prix were on YouTube. But I have watched Heart Like a Wheel on YouTube as well, Bill. So some great suggestions from Bill of some stuff we can check out on YouTube, right up our alley as well. After you get done watching the Kern's Old Home Bread Keep on a Truckin' commercials, because you got to check those out as well. California Kid, 2-lane blacktop, a couple more great ones. So a lot of neat stuff on there. But anyway, that's what I've got for you guys tonight. I figured it would take a few minutes by the time we got through all the history tied to these signs. Like I said, the Dr. Sweat root beer, definitely a new one on me. But there again, when I stumble across a sign like that I haven't seen before, as you well know, I'm not very smart. So then I think I got to buy it. So, yeah, that's right, Peter. Gray Kitty is over there snoozing. Her and Chunky Butt are curled up in the bed. So anyway, we got some more cool stuff coming up this week. We've got, as far as the public videos go, we've got the Auburn Core Duesenberg engine building, the test fire of an engine they rebuilt, and some of the interesting things they do to make sure those engines are correct when they either go into a restoration they're doing or get that engine ready to go back out to somebody else to put in their car, how they test them to make sure they are right. That video was pretty interesting, not super flamboyant as far as lots of shiny chrome and lots of fancy stuff, but very interesting technically of what it takes to make some of those engines correct. Fall Guy's on YouTube, so you can check out Heather on YouTube on the Fall Guy too. Thanks, Peter. So that video will be coming up, plus the 1957 Ford Fairlane 500 convertible that I pulled off of a creek bank here a few months ago. That video will be coming up as well. Yeah, and see, that's exactly it, Pete. That's some of the stuff that a lot of people don't think about is what it takes to tune some of that stuff. And that's exactly right, Pete. Some of the stuff how they made this stuff work. You've got to remember, we're talking almost 100 years ago. Technology that was developed almost 100 years ago. You've got to remember the J model overhead cam Duesenberg straight 8 engine is coming up right on 100 years old. So things were done differently back then. They had a lot of technology, but they didn't punch it into their laptop to tune this stuff. They had carburetors, which, were basically a leak. They were a design leak that had to work with the timing. A lot to that stuff. So next time you talk to the people at the Cord Restoration Shop, ask if those Lycoming engines are the ones they were originally built in Williamsport, PA. Well, Lycoming was actually owned by E.L. Cord. It was part of the company. So I don't know where the Lycoming plant was at, but if that was the Lycoming plant, Bill, that is where they would have been built, because they are Lycoming was actually under that umbrella with Auburn Cord Duesenberg, all owned by E.L. Cord. That's why they use Lycoming engines. So not sure where the plant was, Bill, but if that was their main plant or if that was the only one plant they had, I'm sure that's where they came from. But there again, that's what's so cool about hanging out down there with those guys is the knowledge that they share. And it's really cool learning about that stuff. So we'll definitely get some more videos up here for the members as well. I've got a lot of new inventory videos in there. A few more things from the Auburn Cord Duesenberg company. We may, let's see, what do we got hanging in there? I've actually got, I don't know if we'll get it up this week or next week, but we've got, anybody remember who was one of the most famous people that drove a cord? Real quick, I know we're about wrapped up, but who was one of the most famous people that drove a cord that you guys can think of? Gary Cooper, I think he had a Duesenberg. But I don't remember him driving a cord. Maybe he had one, but there was somebody way more famous than that. Cary Grant, he had a Duesenberg. I know he drove a Duesenberg. Mr. Magoo, no. No, but she was pretty famous in the 30s. In fact, she was one of the most famous people in the mid to late 30s. There's Neil. That's right. That's exactly right. They did make a lot of airplane engines. I've been there several times. So Mae West, Glenn Cord, nope. We'll give you a few more shots, and then we'll go ahead and let you guys know in on the who one of the most famous people who drove a cord was in that era. Because there's a lot of pictures of her and known around the world, and a lot of you guys are actually kind of, you're all looking at movie stars. 298 cubic inch used in cord were made in Williamsport. So the L head, that would have been in the L98 cords. The V8 cords, or maybe, there you go, Pete. You're getting closer. There you go, Jim. That's right. Amelia Earhart drove a cord. Meg from Texas made it. She had a 37 Phaeton. Well, the day we were there, they had just finished up a 37 Phaeton. Almost identical to what Amelia's car was. Which is cool because we're going to learn more about it. But guess what, guys? We're going to take it out and drive it too. So that's pretty cool. We're going to take it out, drive it. We're going to shift it. That's going to be a lot of fun. We'll try to get, I'll see, maybe we'll get a video up this week or maybe next week. But that's going to be a lot of fun. You guys are definitely going to enjoy that as well. That's right. I'm sure, Jim. That's right. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. The history with one of the most famous people that ever drove a cord and taking one out for a spin, that was a lot of fun. So I think you guys are going to enjoy that. That's right, Balin Wire. You're exactly right. She was from Atchison. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, you're right, Kenny. And it was fun. It was fun to shoot it. And I think you guys are going to get a kick out of it when we literally drove it to lunch. 250, 300,000, maybe $400,000 cord. Jumped in it, took it to lunch. So had a lot of fun doing that video, and I think you guys are going to get a huge kick out of it. Stellar car. They just finished it up. They did not do a full build on it. They did a lot of cleanup and touch-up on it. First place at Auburn Cord Duesenberg Festival last year on Labor Day weekend. So knockout car. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Yes, Peter, the mobile gas truck is here. Have not done the video on it yet. It is on the list to get shot. I was trying to do a little bit of research on the bed, but I can't find any tags on that fuel bed. I looked all over that thing, climbed all over it, climbed up to the top, opened all the doors on it. I cannot find any information on that bed. So I was trying to get a little more information before I did the video, and I can't find anything on it. No, I didn't go to Hawaii for dinner. But it was pretty cool being able to do that. The video on the Mercury Pace car, have not gotten it done yet. Don't have it ready to shoot quite yet. I want to get a few more things done on that car. And I honestly haven't even worked at the yard in over a month at this point. I basically haven't done anything at the yard. Well, when we did the New Year's Day walk around, that was pretty much the last time I spent. In fact, we went a couple hours on that New Year's Day walk around. I haven't been out there that long since that day. We got dumped on with snow that following weekend, like on the 5th. And it's just starting to dry up. I can drive down the roads now. I can't get off the road because the sides are too soft. And we're supposed to get more snow tonight. I'm hoping it's just a little bit, but they said we could see 8 or 9 inches tonight. I'm hoping they're wrong and we just get a little bit, but we won't know till tomorrow morning. Welder up gas station truck. I did not see that. No. So yeah, we've actually got a ton of cool videos that I need to get shot. Those are definitely two of the better ones. The 1957 Mercury Indy 500 pace car, the 1955 Ford mobile fuel truck. Bill's getting snow now. I hope we miss most of it. It's supposed to start in the middle of the night tonight, so I'll see how bad it looks in the morning when I get up and head to the shop. So snow in Ohio. Yeah, I'm hoping it all goes that way and just stays north of us. But they said there's a pretty darn good shot that we're going to get it. Peter, that's right, Peter. You don't have to worry about it down there. Fortunately for you, but yes, it is definitely very much of a reality for here now. So baling wire's getting hit with it right now in Missouri. So I'm hoping we miss it, but who knows? A lot done out at the yard at all. In fact, we did get several videos shot right before that snow hit, fortunately. So I do have a lot of stuff in the can and ready to go, but just haven't been able to do hardly anything out there basically for almost 6 weeks now. So anyway, that being said, we'll get some more content up this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for those videos. That engine video, like I said, not a super flashy video, but a very interesting video. The 57 Ford convertible off the Creek Bank, pretty interesting. And once again, to wrap up tonight, take home some Kern's bread, the 1959 single-sided embossed tin Kern's bread sign. As well as Dr. Sweat's Early American Root Beer, rich in dextrose. So anyway, thanks for stopping by tonight, hanging out with us for a while. Stay tuned. More cool content coming up this week, and we show up to see you all right back here for episode number 250 Sunday night. You guys will not want to miss it. There is a surprise, big surprise that I think you guys are going to get a kick out of. You won't want to miss it. You're definitely going to want to be here. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do some recap. Been snowing out east since 4 p.m. Supposed to go overnight over 3 inches. I'm hoping we only get 3 inches when they're telling us 8 to 9. So definitely appreciate that, Mike. Like, share, and subscribe. Always appreciate you guys doing that and letting your friends know that we're on. Get Heather on. Yeah, I wish. That'd be all right by me. You know what, Kenny? What the heck? Good idea. We are sitting at the desk. How about a Hudson badge? What the heck? We'll slide one of those in yet tonight. And with that, oh, look at that. Look at that. Super chat. You know what that means? Supercharged super chat. We got the super chat badge. Hadn't even thought about somebody throwing a super chat out tonight. Supercharged super chat. Yes, the new super chat badge, the supercharged 1935-1936 Auburn Boat Tail Speedster supercharged hood badge. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate that. Supercharged super chat. Snuck that in right at the end. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate that. With that, we'll go ahead and wrap her up. I'm going to get to work, let you guys get back on with your evening. Hope you enjoyed the signs tonight. A little bit off course, but still really cool pieces that I was definitely excited to add at least one to my collection. But my buddy's name's Kern, so I guess that'll look really great at his place too. Supercharged, good night. Thanks, Bill. Everybody, have a great week. And like I said, do not miss Sunday night, episode number 250. I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun. The surprise, I think you guys are really going to be excited about. And we're going to have a lot of fun that night in honor of 250 get-togethers on Sunday night. Thanks for being here tonight, everybody. We show up to see you Sunday. Have a great week.